and I am the artistic director of 24th Street Theater.
And I'm Jay McAdams. I'm the executive director of 24th Street. We're so glad you're with us.
We sure are, and we're here with a team. Who are our team?
Well, we have part of the best team from Laco, which is Jennifer Matali and Shantu from Laco. Bravo.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
They are our fearless leaders today on this Laco journey. We also have a couple of folks from Team 24. Brittany, our Zoom stage manager.
Thank you, Britt. Thank you so much.
And if you're wondering how we're mustering laughter and applause so early in the morning, it's not magic, it's our musician, Brad Broff.
Yeah!
Hey, good morning, everybody.
And of course, we're doing all of this with our wonderful co-teaching artist, the brilliant Andrew Gershau. He's so brilliant. The wonderful percussionist, the wonderful, wonderful teaching artist, Andrew. Bravo.
We'll be rocking out with Andrew in just a little bit.
Exactly.
You know, we have also you guys from Inglewood. I mean, talk about a phenomenal lineup.
It's true.
This is a lineup fit for the stars. Hey, Brittany, though, we are in Hollywood. Can you give us a real Hollywood introduction the way
we
the
deserve
way this
it.
team
We
deserves
deserve it.
You got it, Jay.
Right.
A Dottie Lou production.
A Dottie Lou production. We're so happy to be here with you today, you incredible educators, and we just really applaud you. And that Hollywood introduction is, we love PD. Jay and I love it. We love working with teachers. We're really honored to do that. 24th Street Theater is in South LA. We're all about arts education for young people, theater for young audiences. We're just hugely bow down to you and what you all do as educators. We know and understand it. So thank you for joining us on Monday morning. You're going to learn a little bit more about theater, both on Zoom as we're doing it together, and then how to apply it in the classroom, as you will with Andrew as well.
Hey, we're going to play a little game called mapping. Now, if you guys were doing a PD the way we love to do it, which is having you at our theater, we would be using different parts of the stage. We'd get everybody up on the stage, and how we would do this would be to send various groups into various different parts of the stage. Because we're on Zoom, we're going to use our cameras rather than our feet. And
speaking of cameras, just a quickie, as much as you can be on, where you have your cameras on so we can see you, so we're engaged, so we can work back and forth as we are live in the Zoom where it happens, we really appreciate it. If you can't, we totally understand, but please don't let it be about hair or any other barrier. Just as much as you can, join us so we can see you and have you participate. It's great.
And if anybody knows firsthand what it's like to teach to turned off cameras, it's you.
You.
Right? You want that engagement. So you're going to have an opportunity to turn your camera on and off for this game. So right now, everybody go ahead and turn it off. That's the stop video icon in the lower left hand of your Zoom
screen.
Just
for a second, turn off your camera.
So you'll be hearing us, but you won't be seeing us.
Great.
I mean, you'll be seeing us, but we won't be seeing you. All right, and it's a very simple game. It's called mapping. So I'm going to give you a simple prompt, and if it applies to you, you simply turn your camera on. It's that simple. If it doesn't, leave your camera off. Simple, easy peasy. And I want you to turn your camera on only if you are a veteran teacher of more than a decade.
Oh my gosh. Oh, fabulous. Thank you so much.
And Connie.
Good job.
Shonda.
And
Look,
Doris.
we got a lot of veterans.
Wow.
Man, you guys are old.
Oh. No, you guys are knowledgeable. That's
Look,
so beautiful.
That is a lot of veteran teachers.
And commitment and wisdom right there.
Beautiful. But you're going to turn them on if you really believe that art makes a difference in the lives of every student.
That's a trick question.
So that's low-hanging fruit, you guys. That's everybody.
Know that art does make a difference. And a huge part of the art that we do, theater for certain, is about feelings. So our practice isn't necessarily dance shoes. It's not instruments. It's not a paintbrush or a camera, but it is emotions. A big part of what theater actors do, artists do, are feelings. So being able to be in touch with your feelings, which is totally aligned to social emotional learning, and we know you're familiar with that. So we feel like there's a huge connection between our art form and how to manage and connect to feelings. So right now, using the chat, so we've just used our video, using the chat, and we'd love to have everybody participate, is tell us how you're feeling. Be hungry, you could be sad, you could be excited, you could be anticipatory, you could be lonely, you could be scared.
Carolyn's tired.
Good.
We're with you, Carolyn.
But Joe, go ahead, put a sleepy, great. Just Rocio, great. What else? Great. Tired, it's wonderful. Just how you're feeling, both physically and emotionally.
Hungry,
Terrific.
tired,
Fabulous. That's
grateful.
beautiful. So we're going to do something with it. We're going to take those feelings and we're going to make a little art together. We only have a couple of minutes here before we have to turn it over to our co-host superstar, but we want to make a little art together and we want to do it in a tableau.
Anybody speak French? Tableau. Tableau. Tableau.
No.
That is not French, that's gibberish. But
Okay,
yeah.
well, close enough. So, a tableau. Does anybody know what it is? Of course. There's the word. It's a French word. I love to write it on the board in the classroom and then cover up those last couple of letters because the students can see, oh, look at that. They can see the root word, and it's just such an eye-opener because tables don't move, right?
Right.
Not unless you move them.
It's a free
So a
frame
tableau, frozen picture.
Great.
So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to call out some of those emotions that you folks just put in the chat, and all you're going to do is simply freeze. Ease. Just like if your video froze up on Zoom, right?
We've had a lot of experience in this in the last year.
And even freeze your eyes. Everything freezes. It's so simple. All right. We'll call them out. You just have to freeze. So I want you to freeze in the shape of somebody who's really, really tired. Set it up and freeze it.
Let's see it. Oh,
Okay.
excited. Oh my gosh, that's so great.
Good
Great.
scream. Good
Beautiful.
Eleanor.
Oh,
Good Alyssa.
yeah,
Good
that's
Vita.
beautiful. CM,
Carolyn.
yes. More of this.
Bravo.
Actually, we're going to do a lot more of this together, but first we're going to turn it over to our
Fearless leader, Jennifer from Laco. Hey, Jen.
Jennifer. Thank you, Jennifer, for inviting us and we're making new friends.
We are so grateful to be working here with Miguel and the whole Inglewood team. My name is Jennifer Mataele, and my partner in crime here, Sean, too, and we're both coordinators from Laco Center for Distance and Online Learning. And we are both also the co-leads for our TEAL Technology Enhanced Arts Learning project. And our project director, Dottie Yesias, who could not join us today. She's here in spirit. So many of you might be asking, what is TEAL exactly? And the goal of TEAL is to really increase students' access to the arts by expanding K-6 teachers, their capacity to provide that culturally relevant integrated arts instruction, which centers around social emotional learning. So in collaborating with Miguel and the team, they asked us to share some of those arts integration strategies within our project. We have a huge jam-packed interactive schedule today. And as Jay and Debbie and the whole 24th Street Theater team has already introduced, we have a wonderful lineup. 24th Street Theater, Jay and Debbie and their whole team, which is a theater group that's based out in LA. And they are so committed to engaging students and families with theater and arts education. You'll also be seeing Andrew Gushaw, which is an LA-based percussionist that teaches School of Music at Cal Arts. and he specializes in the area of West African drumming, particularly the area of Ghana. So you're going to be able to work with Andrew later today. So a big part of TEAL's success is the collective impact of our partners with LACO, and the Center for Distance and Online Learning has partnered up with the Los Angeles Department of Arts and Culture and the Arts Ed Collective to bring you this high quality professional development focused on the culturally relevant arts integration and social emotional learning. So without further ado, I'm going to toss it back over to Jay, Deb, and the whole 24th Street Theater team. And please enjoy today.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's a pleasure.
So you guys expressed laughter, but other emotions a minute ago in the chat for us. Social emotional learning is the name of the game these days. And we know it's a big emotional time, right? I mean, can you think of a more emotional year than the last year of your life?
Wow. What we've learned, what we've managed our way through, incredible.
Whew. We think this is how teachers are feeling.
Right. Are we close?
That kind of sum up the last year, basically, year and a half.
Yeah, we saw that in your tableaus, I think.
Right. And it's no wonder. I mean, the hoops that educators have had to jump through for the past year, and the navigation of online learning has been Herculean.
Exactly.
Nothing short of that.
So what we're going to do is make some art together. So we're artists. We're the Inglewood Acting Ensemble right now. And we are going to explore art as obviously a means of expression, communication, but also healing. Because I think this is a huge thing that we need to do as a society, and certainly teachers are now obligated to bring kids back into the classroom and help them feel normal and connected and back to that love that we all give to the students that we serve. So art is healing.
So some of this is directly applicable to the classroom, no matter what grade level you teach. And then a few of these exercises are really just for you. They're art making so that you can experience yourself this morning as an artist. That's a big part of our goal. And that's why, again, I want to challenge you, if at all possible, to turn on your camera. Because we know if your camera's off, you're partially checked out. Everybody gets that. But also, here's another reason. We really are giving you an opportunity this morning, and Andrew as well, to be artists, to play, to be a student, not to have to be a teacher. There are no children in the room with us today. There are no students on this call.
There might be.
I'm not talking about immature people, talking about children.
In the background.
We are all adults, so we can talk to each other as adults here. But you can also experience as adults without any stigma. We're not judging you. So we really want you to try, especially in this next hour that we're doing theater together, to really push the envelope. Scare yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
Try a couple of these exercises in a way that feels vulnerable. Shut the door if you need to. If you're worried about being embarrassed with whoever's in the room with you. But really push yourself. That's how you're going to get most out of this.
And if you have to keep your cameras off, do the work anyway with us. That would be just fabulous.
Right.
So we're talking about healing and social emotional learning, right?
And our belief is that social emotional learning is like the oxygen mask, right? That drops in the plane.
Right.
Because teachers are human beings. We all get that. You've had trauma too in this year.
We know that.
Right. So you know, SEL can be that oxygen mask that you put on yourselves first to calm yourself, to get yourself in control of your emotions, and then you can help your students manage their emotions.
Exactly. Now, art is a healing thing. Making art, just by making it, whatever the art form, is a healing experience. Observing it also can be healing. Right? Listening to a concert or going to a museum or watching a play. just observing and being part of an art experience is a healing thing. So we want to share with you a video that we feel expressed the last year and a half. This is a Canadian student. She's a student, high school student in Canada, and was feeling what we were all feeling. Just disconnected, isolated, lonely, lost, stressed, and really just depressed. And so she made some art. And as a result of that, she was healed. And those of us that are experiencing this are empathic and are feeling that same healing opportunity. So we want to share this with you. It's called Numb.
Like a burst and then I'll jump on it. I love being a teenager. Hands on me. Hands on me. Hands on me. My chains. Are you learning? I'm staying here. I'm gonna eat. You look like you're on crack. I can't wait. Hold on.
And you just consumed it. You just experienced it. I want you to use the chat right now and tell me how you felt watching it. So use the chat, just share it, how you felt watching it. Great, thank you. Just thank you so much.
Right.
Great.
Heart sick,
Right.
same, overwhelmed, helpless.
Right. And the reason we're saying this, look at, you feel terrible and sad and upset and heartsick, and we're saying wonderful. Bravo, terrific. And the reason we're saying that is because you're able to identify your feelings. You're able to have experienced something, have it move you, hopefully, all of you, and then be able to say what it is you're feeling. which is a huge part of social emotional learning. What am I feeling? What is the name of my feeling? And then how do I regulate it? How do I manage it? And on top of this, this was a beautiful piece of art that allows you some catharsis and relatability, because you know your students were feeling this too.
Hey, I want to show you something that I suspect you've seen before. It's the castle wheel. The social emotional learning. This is kind of the touchstone, and you can see the little 5 hubs there in the center. Self-awareness is what Deb was just talking about. Because if you can't identify it, you're lost. Self-management, really important. Responsible decision-making, relationship skills, social awareness. Those are the 5 hubs that we were talking about that are that oxygen mask, right? That if you can help with those 5 basic areas with a student, you can help them navigate some pretty tough territory. So we'll be coming back to that. Self-management is a big key of it, because that is the part where you wrestle it to the ground, right? You're feeling upset about something, you can identify it, but can you change it?
Exactly.
And those bullets are, part of the process of helping students manage their own emotions.
And we're going to make some art in a little while that uses all of these. You'll be able to identify these bullets in the art making. So continuing to make that connection between theater, between acting, between making believe, making yourself believe as an artist, not pretending, because that is not what we do as genuine artists. We don't pretend. We really make believe. We go back to that world of being 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds where they can immerse themselves in the world of make believe. That's the mastery of the art form. So we're going to make believe, and you're going to see how those self-management bullets and those skills come into play. So theater is, well, it's about storytelling, right?
In a nutshell, that's what it is.
Yeah,
right? It's another way to tell stories.
Right.
Music is a way to tell stories. Cinema is a way to tell stories. Theater is another way.
Right. And storytelling brings us empathy. So an actor, maybe an actor playing a witch in a play, and that witch has to feel those feelings of revenge and anger and bitterness and rage, right? Well, the end of the play, the actor goes back to the dressing room, takes off the witch costume, and hangs it up. Also hangs up those feelings. You can't bring those feelings with you. But it's hugely a big part of our art form. And telling these stories brings empathy.
And teachers are natural storytellers. You are telling stories all the time in the classroom,
absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Raise your emoji hand.
You know where those are? In the reactions?
Those are in reactions
right?
Down at the bottom. Yep. Raise your emoji hand if you consider yourself a storyteller.
That's what we're looking for. Oh my gosh!
I am. Venus is a storyteller, and Michael.
You're standing in front of a group of kids every day, right?
Great.
You're a presenter, you have an audience.
Thesis is you are all storytellers.
Exactly.
Whether you self-identify as such or not, and you're all performers. That's our thesis.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Because nobody does more shows. I mean, Wayne Newton does not do more shows
than you do.
Than a classroom teacher. You guys are doing 5 a week.
Right. Exactly. And you're rocking it.
Right.
So knowing that story, the reason that story exists, quality story, good story, stories, is to create that empathy. So raise your hand, your real hand, the hand that's on your brilliant body, if you can define empathy. You don't have to do it. I just want to know if somebody would ask you, like maybe me, could you define empathy? So raise your hand. To take that hand, we're going to do a little choreography and put it on your opposite shoulder. Just put it there. Let's do a little choreography, tiny little bit of movement. Take your other hand, put it on the opposite shoulder. Empathic, caring, compassionate work you've done, not just this year, but every year, and really hug yourself.
You guys are such heroes.
You are such heroes. Feel that. We're hugging you right now. In fact, we're going to hug each other. because we're vaccinated, you can do that right now.
We're talking about stories. Where do stories come from? Just unmute yourself and throw it out.
Yeah, just say it.
Just shout it out. So
Shout it out.
even if we're talking over each other.
And you can, great, put it in the chat and shout it out. Keep going, keep going.
Friends,
Good, friends.
family,
Oh, I love it.
books,
Experiences.
Exactly, events.
from children.
Children, from your children.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, dreams. Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. But you're right. Stories.
Imagination.
Your imagination.
Right,
Oh,
right, Miss D.
bravo.
And that is key to theater. Miss D just touched on the heart of it. Because we're going to share. I'm going to share a little secret. I hope I don't shock anyone. Theater, it's fake.
It's not.
We know.
Don't tell them that.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
It's all made up. So if you cannot suspend your disbelief or you're not willing to, then theater's a dead-end street for you, really. But if you are willing to use your imagination, the entire world is your oyster.
That's right. And the messages and the themes and the learning and the empathy that stories can deliver and theater can deliver are profound, which is why we've been doing it for going on 137 years. So stories can come from anywhere, and they can come from just a little tangential place. They can come from a little bit of dialogue you overhear and you can start to tell a story. They can come from a picture, an image, or a musical lyrical moment, right? They can come from anything. So I want to prompt a story with you right now, and I want you to see this picture. So here's a picture. So we're going to start with an image. So talk about hugging. Is that what Jay and I looked like a moment ago? I think it must to you guys. I'm the cow. So here's a lady hugging a cow. Now, stories are a little bit different than a recounting of information. A story has to have these three things. You have to be able to answer these three things. And you are wonderful educators, so you know all of the diagram of how to tell a story. But if you can break it down to just three basics, you always ask, where are we? So where are they? And the next thing you ask is, who are they? Who are these characters? And the last thing you ask, and the critical part of story, is what's the problem or the conflict? So you're looking at this lady hugging a cow. Take a second, everybody do it just as that exercise, as the practice of this art form, and think to yourself, where are they? Where are these two characters, right? Who are they? And what do you think the conflict could be? It has to have a conflict to make it genuinely a story. And we'd like to hear from you.
Thank you. I would say that they're on a ranch. And it's probably the caretaker and the cow. And maybe the cow's not feeling well, or maybe the cow just gave birth and the owner's trying to console her, or just, rub to kind of.
Very sweet. That's a very sweet
That's
farm.
a very beautiful farm. You just took a picture, just a black and white random picture, and you made story just by answering those questions. I love that. And such a compassionate story. Who else? What's another version?
Yeah, so that cat, they're in the farm, and that cow was the child's pet since she was a little calf, and now she's going on vacation. And so she said, I'm going to miss you. I'll see you around.
Oh, that's beautiful. So she's
Sweet.
going on vacation. And do you think, Sandra, just to make it deepen it a little bit more, will they see each other again or no?
Of course.
Oh, good. All right.
Teachers are just so sweet.
They're so sweet. So simple answering of questions, you can begin to tell story. And those are, both of them, just a beautiful paradigm of what this story could be. So I want to do this. I want to play a little bit with making a connection to another species. And we're going to do that with one of the art forms that we're sharing with you, that you can use in the classroom, you can use on Zoom, you can use anywhere. It's a really critical part of our world. And we're going to use this skill. So we're going to use pantomime around this pantomime. There, we got it. Let's hold on for a second for pantomime. Thanks. Britt. Jay, why don't you define it just to make sure everybody knows?
That's
what it is.
when, we all know this from the last year. It's when you pretend to wear pants.
No,
That's not
I
it.
apologize.
Pantomiming is just using an imaginary object. So let's take a simple hairbrush. And if you don't have hair, however you
Polish your scalp.
tend to your head, yeah. So do whatever fits your hair. Or
So do it
otherwise.
with us. You've got a brush. Comb your hair.
And
Brush
really
your hair.
think about the size of the brush or the pick, the cloth, whatever you're holding.
Whatever you
have
do,
weight?
however you groom your hair, let's see it. Make yourself believe it. There's a little weight to that. There's hair in the brush, maybe. Fabulous, Adele.
Right.
That's beautiful.
This is something you do
Every day. What's brilliant about it is that you don't need anything but, and we're invoking that word that you said, your imagination. You just need your imagination to build a world in pantomime. That's all you need.
So now we want you to pantomime an animal.
An animal.
Any animal,
Any animal.
you're interacting with it.
Right, so it can be a cow or a dog or a cat or a bird or a giraffe or whatever it is. But for just a moment, we want you to make believe that there's an animal in your life.
So really see it.
Really see it and hold it. So we're talking about empathy. We're talking about love. Both those stories that you shared were really compassionate stories about that cow. So just for a second, and Brad, maybe you store this pantomime, but you're holding and you're comforting another species. Let's see you do it.
Man, how powerful is it to be able to communicate with another species?
And you're doing it. These are beautiful images of pantomime, connection, love. That's great, Evelyn. And nothing's there.
Nice.
Let's go back to that hawk, Britt. You brought that hawk in. And we're going to build a story. We're going to build a little bit more choreographed pantomime with a story. So look at this beautiful, beautiful animal, right? Trusting that person, right? Caring and trust. So it really is a story of trust and connection. Really beautiful, but it's also going to be a story of loss. Okay, so we're going to add that, which we didn't put in the cow story, but we're going to put it in this because it makes it a more poignant and powerful story of storytelling. So you're going to watch me, and then you're going to do it. So I'm going to call this bird from the sky. I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to communicate with it, and then I have to say goodbye to it. So watch me, because you're going to do it in a second. So I beckon the bird. It's flying in the sky. It knows me. And we make a connection. And here it comes, and it flies down. It flies down and it lands right here. Oh, and I can feel its majesty and its beautiful wingspan. Gorgeous. And I have such honor for it, for what it can do. We make this connection. We care about one another, two different species. But I know it can't stay with me, not here. And I can't go into the sky. So we have to say goodbye. And off it into the and I watch as it circles around and dips its wings and says goodbye. And that memory lives with me forever. What an honor. Everybody, let's do it. Lovely work. Beautiful work. Bravo. You made a connection. You did it through pantomime. You made art. We made art together, and you did it with your heart, your body, and your spirit.
Did any of you make yourselves feel that empathy? Did you feel the excitement when it landed? Did you feel the loss when it flew away? Anybody?
Yeah.
Great.
That's feeling what it feels like to be an artist, to deeply make yourself believe.
Hey, has anyone ever had a dream of flying? Anyone ever dreamt of flying? Raise your
Anybody?
hand if you have.
Speaking of hawks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, most of us, right? Most of us
Exactly.
have those dreams. And we're not talking
Exactly.
about commercial airplanes.
Right.
Those are nightmares, but we've dreamed of that Peter Pan kind of
Of being able to fly.
flying.
Just like that beautiful hawk. You know, we have been dreaming as human beings of flying for years, right? 500 years ago, Leonardo da Vinci created a blueprint for a flying machine inspired by birds. And then 400 years later, people were able to build flying machines. These are the Wright brothers, right? They created the first mechanical plane. That's incredible because they dreamt like we're dreaming of flying. Amelia Earhart, she was the first woman to fly a solo flight across the Atlantic. And these are the Dixie Bells. They were women aviators during World War II. And then the jet plane was invented and everyone could fly, right? Commercial flight. And finally in the 1960s, we took it to the next level and we made it to the moon. Made it to the moon. It's incredible. All from that dream, if only we could fly. And now we know that the Mars rover, right, is there right now, right on Mars. Look at that. Talk about perseverance.
And a helicopter.
And a helicopter, exactly.
And by the way, there were some teachers from Hart Unified School District that are participating. Look at that bottom line there. 17 Hart teachers have been on this airborne observatory thus far.
Yeah.
3 more now. Isn't that cool?
That's just so great. That's so great. So we're flying, people. We're flying.
We are flying.
It's true.
Now that was kind of what Deb just narrated there for you was kind of a timeline of flight, right? More than a story. But here's a story about flight that has conflict. And many of you will remember this because it was a real deal. It happened in 1970, not that long ago. And we're talking about the story of Apollo 13. Everyone that was alive on the planet at that time knew about Apollo 13. It had the entire world riveted.
Right.
And for those of you who don't know exactly what the sequence was, we had just been to the moon a year or two earlier, and now this flight was returning to the moon. But as they were en route, they had a major catastrophic equipment failure, an oxygen tank malfunction, and they didn't know if they were going to get back to Earth alive. The folks at Mission Control on the ground had to work with the astronauts using only the materials they had aboard the spaceship to fix the equipment, and they did it.
Right.
They did it. It was a triumph of the human spirit, a triumph of the imagination, and the entire world was riveted on this story. It was really a beautiful thing.
And it has that Holy Trinity, right? It's inspired by true story, but where were they in space? Who were they? Astronauts. What was the problem? They had a conflict aboard the spacecraft and they could not get back down.
So we're going to show you this story, basic story of Apollo 13, but acted out with these two 24th Street actors. And you'll notice that they're not sitting in a spaceship set. They're not wearing spacesuits. They're just wearing their black rehearsal clothes. They're sitting on a couple of rehearsal cubes. And that's what they're going to use to tell us the story of Apollo 13.
And their imaginations and your imaginations.
Checking systems. All systems are go. Checking life support. Life support online. Preparing for launch. Prepping for launch. 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. No, we're down. We're down. We're down. All right, I need to check the roll call angles. Check the roll call angle. All right, -2. Double check that as possible. No air, no compression. No, that's all we got, Houston. Copy that?
So we're going to do it. We're all going to go into space. But Jay and I want to remind you, it was just rehearsal blocks. You're sitting in some chairs.
Good.
And so that's that connection. Right now, we're going to rehearse. We're going to all be astronauts. So do it with us, even if we can't see you. Do the practice, do the work with us. But it really is that imagination. We just want to reemphasize when we perform this, and this was a scene that we perform in front of a live audience at our theater, we don't bring in a spacecraft set. We don't put them in astronaut suits. Imagination is the critical part of our art form. In movies and television, you want to look real because they're not in the room with you. That's their obligation. But theater, it's literally about imagination. You agree as the audience, we agree as the actor that we are using our imagination and making believe that we are where we are, who we are, and what the problem is. So right now, you're the artist, you're the actor, you're the astronaut, and we're going to rehearse.
So we're just going to do the pantomime first, the kind of the choreography.
Right, you remember
scene.
what that is.
You remember that.
All right, here we go. So do it with us.
Let's start with the helmet.
Okay, so let's start with the helmet. So you're
putting on your helmet.
So it's above you. You're going to put it on, bring it down.
I really feel the weight of it, and there's one lock.
Just great. You're locking it in. Then there's a harness. Reach up for the harness.
It's hydraulic. It moves slow.
It moves slowly. You just saw that. Bring it down. Good, good.
Two locks.
Two locks. One and then the next. Good. And then you're communicating, and let's see that in your box. Really do that pantomime.
Pull that keyboard close to you.
And then really communicate with NASA with mission control. So you've got buttons, right? You can turn, and wheels and lights that you can click. And you're right. You're really communicating. Good job. Great.
It's one of those dials, a little hard to move.
Right. Oh, good. All right, let's get ready. We're going up. We're going to begin our ascent.
All right,
hold
so
on to that harness.
off.
You're going to
really
blast off.
Shake.
Really shake it. Really shake.
Man,
really do it. Commit.
So
In your
many
seats.
Gs.
Good, good. Up, right? And then suddenly you're in
weightlessness.
And let's see that. This is a slow motion skill. So just slow-mo. Good job. Fabulous. Great. That's wonderful. Beautiful. Just make yourself believe. And then suddenly there's a crisis on board and you deflate, which means you go straight down. Just deflate, go straight down. Go. Good. You're going to hold this on a 3 count. 1, 2, 3.
And then come back
up. Right? You've got to problem solve here. So you've got to communicate with mission control again. You've got to tell them that you've got a problem because we've got to get back down safely. What do we need to do?
Laser focus.
Here we go, right? We're saving our lives. Then we get ready, hold on to our harness, and we're same thing, back down.
Back into the atmosphere.
Right, down, and then splash down. Good pantomime. Really makes
basic element.
What really makes it work is not the mechanics of the pantomime, but the feeling, the emotions. That's what we traffic in here in this art form. The emotions that you would feel, the exhilaration of being able to go into space. How few people were allowed that, or still continue to be allowed that. Those scientists that are allowed to go into space and explore the space. And then the crisis and what you have to do to get back down. You've got to feel it, not just the mechanics.
So really, really take advantage of this, folks, because you have the opportunity here to really try to change your own emotions.
Right. Goes from fear to focus to salvation.
And the sound will help you. That's right. It's a whole arc of life in this little 2-minute story.
Exactly.
But the sound and the music will help you. They're your friends.
Right. And your imagination, you're just sitting in your chair wherever you are, but you're now going into space.
So we want you to feel the terror of that calamity. We want you to feel the joy of being home safe. All that crammed into a little 2-minute scene.
That's exactly right. All right, here we go. We're going into space. Get those.
Preparing for launch, checking systems. All systems are a go. Checking life support. Life support online. Preparing for launch. Prepping for launch. 3, 2, 1.
See it outside of window 1? No, we're down. All right, I need to check the roll cal angles. Check the roll cal angle. Minus 2 double check that as possible. No air, no pressure. No, that's all we got.
And splash.
Bravo! Keep for your commitment. So beautiful. So beautiful.
So who actually managed to change your heart rate?
Hey, we want to show you what it is we saw from the spacecraft, right?
This is why those astronauts have the instinct to live.
Because they're coming back to Earth, to home. Look how much more we have that connects us than divides us. Talk about cultural relevancy. We're in a galaxy in the universe on this rock together. Everything we do is culturally relevant.
And everything you teach has to do with this image.
Right?
In fact, on the TEAL website in the theater module, there's a link to a website. This is it live, and that's Brittany clicking on it. Yeah, click on the North Pole up there, Britt.
Okay.
And watch how it rotates the image. Look, we're looking down on the Earth, and that's the real daylight right there, the sun line.
It refreshes just every few minutes.
It's
So this is really now.
Yeah, this is not a photograph of the Earth. It's a satellite image from the last 5 minutes.
Incredible. There we are in sun.
Isn't that fun?
You can see yourself. See,
can-
working so hard, being creative right there. Exactly.
There's California. We're in sunlight for a few hours now.
And using our imaginations.
Look at that.
Isn't that gorgeous?
And there's a lot of different maps you can use on that site as well.
So relevant. You know, one of the things that we researched, wow, that's amazing. One of the things we researched while we were doing this work was the International Space Station.
We were wondering if they ever had cultural issues with all these international folks on board. And we found proof that actually
Yeah.
sometimes they do have some problems up there.
Right.
It makes sense, right? You've got Russians and Americans and Chinese, people from all over the world, right, with different cultures. So there is also a link in the TEAL module to a very dry white paper by NASA.
Oh yeah, definitely look it up.
It's not a great reading, I didn't think, but the reason we put it in there was because it does show that even on the International Space Station, they have cultural issues to navigate and figure out how to get people to get along.
But
It's
these
not
are-
just your classroom.
Exactly. But of course, these are scientists with huge goals and a huge amount of training in self-management. Let's go back and just for a second look at the traits of the self-management slide. Exactly. So think about us. We went into space. We had a crisis, right? We had to get back down. What did we use? We managed our feelings, right? We identified what the stress was. We had self-discipline. We were motivated to live. We had a collective sense of goal, and we had to work together, didn't we? We had to plan and organize, and man, did we have courage, because we had a collective personal obligation to live, to be together, to work it out, and to solve it, and to get back safely. All of those core competencies in that self-management part of the castle wheel were in the work you just did, and hopefully some of you just felt. So bravo.
If we have not scared you from flying yet,
yeah,
that's our real
that's our real goal.
That's our real goal this morning, is to make sure you never get on an airplane.
Don't get on a
again.
plane.
Here's another aviation story with conflict that I think everyone will remember.
But it also, though, the reason we're sharing it with you is because it's such another beautiful example of self-management, of being in control of your feelings, right, and working together as a team.
Right. So here's a story that I think everybody remembers from a few years ago. It was a little over a decade now. But Sully Sullenberger. Raise your emoji hand or your real hand if you have a memory of Sully Sullenberger and the airplane flight that landed in the Hudson. So airplane loses power, loses all power, flying out of New York. They turn around. They're trying to get back and land, and they're not going to make it. And the pilot lands on the Hudson. It was courageous. It was calm. And for those of you who remember at the time, they were playing the air traffic control recordings when that happened, after that incident. And anybody remember that? Remember hearing them? You heard a very calm air traffic controller trying to reroute the plane back to New York, and then to Teterboro Airport, and then you hear a very calm Sully Sullenberger say, "It's going to be the Hudson." Kind of makes you weepy thinking about it, because the courage. And then the air traffic controller says, "Oh, okay, roger that." I mean, people perfectly built for their jobs and perfectly trained to keep their emotions at bay and react in an emergency. This one is an artist.
Right.
If she were flying that plane, it would not have been calm.
We're all gonna die! We're all gonna die! That's what would have been.
And sadly, the headline would have been just that. Right. Because she wouldn't have had the faculties that she needed to get herself and everybody else safely down.
And you're exactly right, Gustavo. He was invited to speak at Congress because he saved all of those lives.
What a hero.
What a hero.
And he was the last one out of that plane. He went down every row and made sure
he landed in the Hudson.
The last one off the wing.
But he used these skills. He used the skills that we're talking about today, which is self-management, right?
So we're going to do a little exercise here. We're going to
art making. We're going to make some art.
We're going to write some dialogue. Those are the words that characters say. And you're gonna each of you are gonna go into a breakout room of about 4 people, and you're gonna create 2 lines of dialogue. The first one, let's just for fun have it be your crazy line, your out of control panic line, like Deb would do, right?
Right. No self-management involved.
Right. So each of you will do your crazy out of control line of dialogue for each other, and then you will get your composure. You will then use SEL to get in control of your emotions, and the next line of dialogue is going to be so professional, it's going to get you down to earth safely. 2 lines. Simple, right? You'll have about 5 minutes. Jen is going to put you into groups of about 4, and then you'll come back with us, all right? So pretty easy. Panic line and calm line. It's that simple. Anybody want to share their 2 lines?
I'm a dual immersion teacher over at Worthington. So my panic would be, ay Dios mío, ay Dios mío, ay Dios mío.
Right, beautiful.
Oh my God, yeah.
And then your calm one.
And my calm one would be, todo va a estar bien.
Great.
Fabulous.
Hey, do that one more time, but up the stakes. So the panic is even more panicked, and the calm is even more calm.
So not just telling us, Irma, but performing it.
And it's especially great because you're doing it in Spanish. We can hear the tone better.
Right.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. ¡Ay, Dios mío! ¡Ay, Dios mío!
Great.
Beautiful.
Great. Was so panic, her microphone shut down.
Good.
Great.
And then here she is, calm and control, managing herself.
Todo va a estar bien. Todo va a estar bien.
Oh,
Right.
beautiful.
By how you said it, you believe her,
That
right?
is so great.
Who else wants to go?
We want to hear from you. Take a chance. All
All
right, Laura, yay.
All right, this is my panic. Mayday, mayday.
Using that chair.
And what is it like when you use SEL to get in control of your emotions? Yeah, much calmer.
Lovely.
Much
Lovely.
calmer. Brilliant, Laura.
Really wonderful. The physical thing. They didn't crash into the sea. Not on Laura's spacecraft.
The great thing about Tableau is, people who are a little nervous, a little shy, it's so easy to do because all it is just freezing. It's just doing nothing. As opposed, imagine the difference in asking a student to sing or asking them to freeze. Man, freeze is so simple.
Right, and you know what's so beautiful about it? So we're folding in SEL. You can do a Tableau just like you did with language here, with text, with dialogue. You can do a Tableau with fear, right? Anxiety, stress, and then say, right, you can narrate as the teacher what happens when we manage our feelings. What do we look like? What does our body look like? And we see that calm and control, right?
You can model.
You can
Actual-
physically model being in control of your feelings
Right.
in a Tableau.
Pantomime, another tool that you can use for a myriad of things in the classroom. You're all excellent at it. And this next thing is something also that is very applicable. It's called chairware.
Nope, we're gonna jump. Before we jump to chairware, I want to do one thing. Just want to, because they inspire
My
me.
wife has corrected me.
I want to jump to one thing because we've been talking.
How do I thank her? Take note, gentlemen. This is how you do it. Thank you for correcting me. It's so right. I was wrong.
Well, they inspired me to think about conflict. Because we began today, we talked about all of our feelings. You were hungry, you were sad, you were anxious, you had all of these feelings, but we have had an enormous conflict in the last 15 months, right? A worldwide pandemic. And as a result of that, there's a tremendous amount of obstacles in our lives, things that we had to get through, right? Things we had to manage, we had to navigate. I want you to think about those for a second, and if you would be willing, and you are so willing and generous with each other, put in the chat, what are some things that have been obstacles for you, that have been in your way, that you can't get to, right? That what is the conflict? It could be anything, right? It could be health, it could be your family, it could be the neighbors, it could be the conflicts and the struggle around teaching, whatever it is. But what is it? What are some obstacles that you have faced? Isolation, great. Touch,
Mhm.
tech, an app, trying to manage tech. Oh my gosh.
Trying to be
Wi-Fi,
human
right.
over tech, right?
Exactly. Technology, doing what you want it to do instead of it doing what it wants to do. What other
Right.
kind of conflicts? Right, not being able to touch, learning new things, and the learning curve that's in there. Right, lack of personal social interaction. Right, so beautiful. Collaboration, missing it, so terrific. That feeling of isolation and disconnection. So I want you to think about that, and for those that you didn't share, take a second and think about what are the conflicts in your life? What are the barriers that you've got? And we're gonna make a little art with it. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to lean back in your chair. I want you to just take a second here, and when I say action, so we're making Zoom art. That's what we're doing. You're gonna lean in as close as you can. There is nothing that's in your way. There's no barrier, there's no conflict. You're just leaning forward and you're getting as close to your webcam as possible. So we're doing a little bit of of art making here, Zoom art making. So when I say action, you're going to lean in and action. Get closer. Come on. Tom, good job. Good job, Irma. Get really close. Good job.
The thing about theater is it is ephemeral, right? It comes and goes. That was a beautiful piece of art you guys just created. Nobody can see it but us. We shared it together, and poof, now it's gone. But it happened, and you made it, and that doesn't change. That's the great thing about theater. So the chair exercise. And it's so simple because that classic plastic and metal chair, or the old wooden, we all know the wooden version, exists in virtually every school everywhere. And you all have a chair. That means you all have a setting. You all have a where. And this is a simple exercise. I believe it's a Viola Spolin or Uta Hagen, one of those two. I can't remember now where we stole this one from many moons ago. But it's a simple premise. You take a chair and you change where the chair is simply by how you sit in it.
It's the cheapest field trip you can take.
It is. No field trip slip required, folks. And just like those other exercises we were talking about a minute ago, a gazillion applications of this. So the simple version is you have a student just walk to an empty chair, and when they sit in the chair, they change where the chair is in their mind, and they use the chair in that environment.
They transform it.
So I'm going to just call some simple wares out, and
so let's see everybody, Britt. Let's do it.
You guys just change the place you're sitting right now to the environment I call that. It's very, very simple.
Obviously using your imagination. You've already all been into space on a seat in a spacecraft, so you know how to transform your seat.
Right. You've already done this morning.
Right.
So let's make this seat a bus driver's seat. You're the bus driver. Action.
Let's see
Show
what that
me what it looks like. You're the bus driver.
Right? So
got that giant steering wheel.
So you're using pantomime. Obviously, that's the skill here.
Planes are back open. It's an airplane seat. Show me that. Show me that.
Oh, yeah.
It's an airplane seat. The middle seat. Middle seat. Squished. Got their own place that they could change their chair to.
Their seat.
Transform your wear.
So you're helping everybody here.
Who's got one?
Who can help us? Show us another one. Think of all the places you can sit. All the places in the world you can sit.
Everywhere you put your butt.
Right?
Behind the drum set.
All right, Jimmy, go.
Love it, Jimmy. Show us that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. That's great. That's great. We know that right away. That's beautiful. Who else has got another one?
Great,
Vita.
Jimmy.
Vita, you have one.
All right, Sandra.
Yeah, let's focus her. Yes.
Can you spotlight Vita?
There she is. And are you playing? Vita, are you playing?
I think that's Sandra.
Oh, Sandra's playing. Oh, look, and Brad is Brad is really playing, so we've got the sound design. Oh, that's so great. Oh, brilliant.
Great.
Transform your seat into another place. How would you use it?
The classroom application. Who's got some ideas?
Well, so we've got some in the chat
put them
here.
in the chat. Or you can say them out loud.
Here we go, right? But how would you use it? Those are the places. How would they be used?
For exercise. I think a lot of times to get the wiggles out, and you just exercise for a moment. And
you put him on that horse, right?
Yeah.
We get him on that horse.
you be a gymnast. Woo!
Or it could be a roller coaster.
Exactly. That's really brilliant. How else could you use this? Could you adapt this to the classroom?
To take a mental break from one activity to another and make a transition.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, that's right.
That's really brilliant.
Go to, some fantasy place or some island or whatever, or it could be a person, right? Who would take you there, the guide.
But I love that transportation. So it could be a boat, it could be a bus, it could be a subway, it could be a plane, it could be a horse.
Right, could be Aladdin taking you on a magic carpet ride.
Right.
Beautiful idea.
I love it.
What's another example of how you could use this in the classroom?
So we know how you make a story. Where are you? So all of those seats, whether it's at a throne, or you're in an airplane, or you're at the dentist office, that's the where you are. And you know the other two parts of the Holy Trinity: Who are these characters and what is the problem?
So one way to ramp this up is to establish the exercise, right? You show that it's just about going to the chair and then using it as another, showing us where you are, using it as how you would really use, be in that space, wherever you're sitting. But then especially if you have older kids, you can up the ante.
Use some dialogue, some simple dialogue with it.
So,
right?
so model how you would instruct it, Deb.
Well, let's see. Where can we go? Let's do one of the chairs, one of the seats that we just did. So let's do. How about
the horse?
The horse.
We're on a horse.
We're on a horse.
We just did a horse.
Okay. So, what's your first name, darling?
Is it Swatan?
Susan.
Yeah.
Susan. All right. So
Susan.
Susan, you're on the horse. So let's get Susan on the horse. And so let's spotlight her. So Susan's on the horse, and she's right, and she stops. Right, she's gonna stop that horse. She's sitting on the horse, and Jay, you're a police officer, and Susan's riding the horse down a sidewalk in the middle of the city.
So I'll start with a line of dialogue, Susan, and then we'll just improvise a scene. The first line is this: can I see your driver's license, please?
I'm sorry, officer. I don't have my driver's license for this horse with me.
I'm afraid you'll have to pull over to the curb.
I'm really trying, officer, but the horse has a mind of its own. It knows where it wants to go.
It's illegal to drive a horse in New York City without a license. You know that.
I'm almost at the destination.
So whether you're you're on a horse or you're the queen on your throne, that prompts a scene, a simple scene where improvisational dialogue, right? Not scripted, but improvisational dialogue is created. Bravo.
Another variation is you pick the where, you announce the where, and then have students act that out. So you could imagine you just read a story together, and you say, hey, this chair happens to be at the top publisher of all stories in the United States in a high-rise in Manhattan. Right this very minute.
You're in New York today.
I'm in New York today. and you say that's where the chair is, and then you're going to get a book review, a story review about what the publishers thought of this particular story, let's just say. So you set that, and then a student walks, sits down in the chair, and starts to give a book review.
Right.
Right? You could use it for a cooking show. I mean, you can set the where, have them act it out, have them set the where, other students act it out.
A little bit more sophisticated version of this for older students would be this: that you just have a student neutral in the chair, not knowing where the chair is at all, and the dialogue prompts it. So the simple line of dialogue would prompt where the student is in the seat, and suddenly they would then have to justify and be in that seat. So if the dialogue was, if I said to Jay, so Jay's in the seat, so Jay will move over, so it's just you, and I prompt the dialogue and I say, please, Your Highness, I don't want to go to prison.
I am bored with you. Off with him.
Right? So he would know immediately that would be a throne, right? He would be a king, right? The dialogue prompted it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do another one. Who can prompt some where we are using a line of dialogue? Because that's a wonderful part of our world is language. Who can prompt a where?
Who can give me a line to prompt me?
And so that Jay would know where he is. What could it be?
Who's got one?
All right, as you're thinking, I'm going to do one more, but then we really want to hear from you.
So come up with a line to prompt me. Deb first. Go.
Go, so Jay's in neutral. Yeah, what do you want to order?
What?
What do you want to order?
Oh, number 2.
We're out of eggs.
We're out of eggs?
We're out of eggs.
Oh. Then I'll have the breakfast burrito, I guess?
Yeah.
Number 3?
Yeah. He knew right away. And the line of dialogue was simply, what do you want to order? So we need one from you. Prompt.
Your Honor, these are all the evidence that I have for the case.
Brilliant.
I think I better have a lawyer. Not my lawyer?
You were the judge.
Great, Sandra.
That helped us know where we are, who we are, and what the problem was.
I can see the light bulb swinging over my head.
A little more sophisticated version of this, but it's a great way to introduce chairware. So really just wonderful work. All right, we want to do a little review, you superstars that we started with, all of these celebrities, about what we've been doing today. And we just really just can't say enough how honored we are. I know Britt and Brad are feeling the same way, that we're just so honored to have spent this time with you. And we're going to be with you through the morning. So if you have any questions for us or ideas that you want to share with us, we're around. We're sitting in our seats. But we just want you to just kind of recall what it is that we've done together.
Think about theater as an art form because it really rocks.
Theater rocks. Hey, you rock.
You are performers and storytellers.
Teachers are natural storytellers.
And storytelling is a great tool for your students and for yourself.
Because it builds empathy. SEL teaches kids how to manage their emotions.
And it's great for adults as well.
Yeah. Yeah, your students really need you right now, and you're there for them.
You've been there for them for the whole year.
Absolutely.
And you're helping them cope with all this trauma, social emotional learning with SEL.
Because you are a hero. Honor each and every one of you. What an honor it's been this morning. Thank you so much to be able to spend time with you.
Those are some lucky kids in Inglewood.
Yeah.